We are back here on the 2 minute drill. It's an annual tradition on the podcast. We are talking about the latest season of Holey Moley on ABC, the Extreme Mini Golf Show. Paired nice with the PGA Championship talk. We go from the serious to the silly. Joining me today are the Rob Reynolds by Joe Tessitore. Pete Consadori is here. Pete, how are you?
That little correlation there is so off, right? Like you said, serious to silly. This is so not like that. But hey, listen, Holy Moly's back. I'm excited. New holes to get to. Funny as ever. So I'm definitely excited to talk to you today about it, Mike.
Yeah, I remember when this came out, I couldn't believe that we were on 4 seasons of this show.
I know. I honestly can't. At first on Hulu, they didn't keep the seasons on Hulu. They would expire after the season had ended live. I think Hulu just had maybe like a deal with CBS or is it CBS or ABC? ABC. To just show the show, keep the season there, and then once the live's done, you don't keep it on there anymore. But now all the seasons are there, and it was season 4, and I see the lineup. I'm like, wait a minute, we've been through 4 seasons already, and I always forget that Holy Moly. This was pre-COVID, the first season, no? So
yeah, the first 2 were pre-COVID, filmed pre-COVID.
This was definitely started a while ago, and it's insane how we're already on season 4, and it's insane to see how a lot of the first year's holes are pretty much gone.
Yeah. I mean, there's basically like maybe like 2 they've kept the entire time. They sort of retweaked a couple of them, but like most of them have been like completely revamped. And I think remember some of the early holes on that show where they were like doing things like, oh, like you got to duck logs like you're putting. And they figured out, I think, in season 2, like like it's more fun when they have to putt, then do the obstacle, then putt again, as opposed to like trying to do both at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that log one was interesting. I didn't hate it, but I think the putting and then trying to do the obstacle is a little bit, I don't want to say funnier, but it works better. You're not at least the person can focus to see if they can get through the obstacle. It doesn't look as rushed or frantic as it did.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to initiate the audience here, if they're new to the podcast, well, first of all, welcome. We do a lot of these kind of silly things all the time here. So Pete, give us the general like elevator pitch on what exactly this show is. People have never seen an episode.
So Holy Moly is pretty much a mixture of mini golf and Wipeout. I don't know if anyone here, Mike, I know you've seen the show. It's pretty much just obstacles with a bunch of foam things where people are not going to get hurt, right? If they get hit by something that's swinging, it's foam. It's all in good fun, but it's extreme mini golf. Rob Riggle, Joe Tessitore are the main guys, the play-by-play and the color commentator of Holy Moly. And the first season they had a guest star, golf pro Stephen Curry, and Stephen Curry has been fully back behind this, fully backs it every season. He's either mentioned or in it. This year, definitely a different turn, which I actually find pretty funny, and I think Steph Curry is a great sport for doing it. But yeah, it's pretty much extreme mini golf. If you're looking for a lighthearted show, either you watch it live. I believe it's on Tuesday nights at 9 o'clock. I could be wrong on that time. 9 o'clock Eastern. Mike will correct me in a second. But it's also on Hulu, so you can watch it when it comes out, whenever. The past 3 seasons are also on there too, so if you want to watch the progression of Holy Moly, that's cool too. But yeah, it's just a lighthearted, fun watching show. Doesn't really take a lot of time to really get into it, or you don't have to like watch previous seasons to understand what's going on. It's not something you have to think really hard about, so definitely recommend it.
Yeah, I'll add a couple of things here. It's Tuesday at 8, not 9. Pete was close on the time, but in terms of like general format here, I think season 1 is sort of a little bit of an outlier where they had like, I think 12 different people in there. And I think like it was just whatever, it just kind of made no sense how they did it. But now every season basically like a long tournament where every episode there's 8 people competing. Whoever wins the episode basically wins 3 holes and they get a spot in the grand finale, which is a chance to win $250,000. So you don't have to jump in. You don't need to know anything from the first 3 seasons to jump in and watch it now. It'll have fun either way. But if you watch especially from 2 on, you get like backstory and in jokes and stuff. Makes it a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And like you said, season 1's a little bit different. It's an outlier. They had a champion every episode, and I think they won like 10 grand or something like that. It wasn't like anything, I don't want to say anything short of 10 grand, still a lot of money, but there would be a champion every single episode. Now they're doing it where if you win the episode, you get to go to the finals for a chance to be the champion, which I think is a lot better. It definitely creates storylines. Again, not serious storylines, right? But you can remember characters, contestants from the first or second episode coming back to putt in the finale. So yeah, season 1 is an outlier. I still say watch it because it's pretty much the birth of the show, and you can see them work out all like the errors that they probably had within the first season and the second season and the third. So give it a watch if you have Hulu.
Yeah, absolutely. I think in terms of we've watched recording on Saturday after the second episode aired, so we watched the first two. Like, what do you think about what we gotten so far out of season 4?
I think it's fantastic. I think that the storyline behind season 4 is really funny. Don't know if you necessarily need the Muppets because that is something that is in there, but it still adds to it. Obviously, there's some sort of network deal in with the Muppets and Holey Moley. Maybe that's given them a little bit more revenue, maybe a little bit bigger budget because they're having the Muppets within. But I have to say, I like the storyline. I love what they're doing with the Steph Curry storyline as well. And I also like the new holes a lot. I think that they are really starting to refine what they do with their holes instead of just kind of like, I don't want to say throwing stuff together, but we see in the first 2 seasons, there were just kind of holes that didn't make sense.
Yeah, I remember that. I'm sure you talk about like the hot dog hole, for example. It made no sense.
Yeah, and then they had a similar hole that was pretty much the same exact thing, just a different theme. So the hot dog one, and they had like a log one that looked exactly the same, just different themes. And it was just like, okay, you look for the first season for never seeing the show before. You're like, oh, this is cool, like obstacle course mini golf, great. But after seeing it all season, you're like, okay, that's the same hole, that's the same concept, that's this, that's that. There is, I don't want to say I have a gripe with one of the new holes, but I feel like one of the new holes is kind of like a copy of a probably still current hole. I don't know yet. We'll talk about it, but yeah, that's exactly right. I'm talking about the hot dog hole.
Yeah. And I do think they've done a good job because the first 2 seasons were filmed prior to COVID, so they were able to bring in a bunch of celebrity guests. I remember infamously there was like a diving hole that was like a running gag where they had like a trained college diver basically flunk out the hole every time against like being judged by Greg Louganis and the mascot Sir Goff and one other celebrity. Oh, Steve Gutenberg was the other guy. So,
Right.
yeah,
John Lithgow, right? He was in there for the pirate hole.
yeah, John Lovitz.
John Lovitz. So,
Yeah. Yeah, they can't do that now because of season 3 and 4 filmed during COVID. They had to limit how many people they brought on the set. So I think that's also part of the Muppet angle too. Because like now you can have the Muppets and have like guest stars without having like actual people be there who don't have to wear a mask.
yeah, but what's nice too is that there's actual audience members now this season. I remember in season 3 they had to like
Limit
use
it.
snippets of audience members from last season to kind of like show there was people there, even though there wasn't. You were watching the whole and there was like no one there except for the 2 people, which again, COVID, totally understood. But it's nice to see there's actually people there cheering the putters on and everything like that.
Absolutely. So let's talk about the main storyline of the actual season, which is like again totally not important to like the actual mini golf happening, but it's a fun little like through line they run through here. So basically, season 2 was we're going to 18 holes, they only do 17 because they ran out of money. Season 3 was Steph Curry trying to take Holy Moly Pro, make it an extreme sport. And now season 4, Rob Riggle's worried they're going to get canceled, so he's recruited the Muppets to try and help him save the show. I thought the opening sketch was actually pretty funny, where he's easy coming in and there's like his parking spot is gone, like there's no food at the break table, like, and he's sitting there like, oh my god, they get canceled. This like, goes to Kermit. It's like, Kermit, help me save the show.
Yeah, so I personally think that the angle they were trying to go for is that Rob's going to get fired. And I think Rob takes as the show's going to get canceled because Travis Kelce's there with Joe Tessitore wearing the same gold jacket, broadcasting jacket. His spot's gone. One of the holes we'll talk about, which one of the new holes, like he's not a part of really until this second episode. So I actually enjoy it. I think Rob pretty much being trashed on this show. I mean, this is like the season against Rob, right? I mean, and of course it's scripted and it's not like, oh, this is serious, but I actually like that angle because Rob Riggle's the perfect person to get trashed on and like him like run with it. Yeah. So he's a great sport with it and it's working so far.
Yeah, and obviously one of the big things here is that we brought the Muppets in to help Rob Riggle here. And they're in the past, you always had those like little interstitials where like either a hole's getting explained or last year was like a lot of Steph Curry explaining his ideas of how to make the sport extreme and take it mainstream. We had those press conferences like Draymond Green and 3 random teammates who like looked out like his Looney Tunes. And I think the Muppets here is fun. I remember I was laughing a couple of those. I think the one where he's talking to I think Animal, the Swedish chef. I forget who the third one was, and he couldn't understand. I think Animal is going banana for his idea, and the other 2 are just talking in gibberish, and he couldn't understand any of them.
Yeah, no, that was a great skit, and I think it pays a lot of credit to the writers of this show. They have to make a lot out of nothing, right? The show is about mini golf. The show is about people getting pretty much wrecked on these courses because they can't do these obstacles. I mean, granted, there's a few people that'll get through it, but for the most part, most people don't get through the obstacles, and it's just funny, right? Because no one's getting really hurt. They're, it's all, like I said, it's all foam pieces that are hitting you and stuff. So it's really not the end of the world if you get hit.
You're getting wet. You're throwing the water in the mud.
Yeah, you're gonna get wet. It's just the fact that the writers have been able to elevate the show to have a storyline on top of it is great. And the Muppets help. But I think that skit is really good. And I think having that extra piece to it is what's really going to be the success of the show, right? I think the first season was good because it was new. The second season was like, because they had a gag. They didn't really have anyone in there. Steph Curry was not around. Then you have season 3. Then you have a lot of different things pulled in. Season 4, we have a lot of different things pulled in. And I think that's going to be the success of the show if they keep getting celebrities or different things to reference off of to keep the storylines going.
Yeah, it's definitely the Steph Curry of it all is also fun too, because season 1 he's basically there for a hole. He's basically like hitting a shot for somebody, and then he like gives out the golden jack, like the golden putter at the end of the episode. Season 2 he's animated because they didn't have him for a lot of time. Last year he has a whole big storyline, and this year like his whole storyline is basically he gets kidnapped by Prawn the Muppet, and like Prawn's like holding him hostage to try and get AC to renew the show, and like Rob Riggle's trying to like talk the situation down. That's gonna be funny to watch that play out.
Yeah, I mean, so far he's been a great sport about it. I mean, Steph Curry has been really good in the show to begin with these past 3 seasons, but this 4th season they have him tied up to a chair. It looks like he has a black eye, like someone beat him up, and he's just like, I'm not saying this against my will. I want you to see this hole, and he's explaining the hole while he's tied up, and the Muppets like watching over him, like, say it. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
And again, you take it for what it's worth, right? Again, putt, a mini golf show with the Muppets. It's not a serious thing. You watch it to enjoy it. If I ever see a bad review on this show, right, where someone's like, this is the stupid, like, at that point you're taking life too seriously. Like, this is not a show that's supposed to be serious.
Yeah, this is not Breaking Bad.
Yeah, no, this is not something that's supposed to be winning, I don't know, is TV shows Emmys? Yeah, right.
Yeah, they're not winning Emmys.
Yeah, they're not winning Emmys. They're not winning anything crazy for this. And who knows? They might. Look, if Joe Tessitore and Rob Riggle can win an Emmy over this because they have some funny play-by-play and make the show interesting, more power to them. This is not, like you said, Breaking Bad. This is not even like, let's say, a comedy show like The Office where you're supposed to be making a funny show. This is like, hey, we're going to watch people pretty much play mini golf. They're going to get wrecked by these obstacles, and we're going to make fun of them.
Yeah, for sure. I do think also it's fun that the show has done a good job with the story. I sort of TJ's up. I remember the first episode when they have the winner go get their golden putter, and she's like, "Where's Steph Curry?" And Corey Joe's like, "Eh." And then episode 2, I don't think people talk about this enough. I think they brought his brother Seth Curry to hand out the.
That's his brother.
Yeah, that's his brother Seth. You can tell they have different facial structures. And I looked up like, oh, that is Seth Curry.
And Rob was like, look at that. That's Steph Curry. That is, they're like really pressing that it's him. And the guy who won's just like looking at him like, I don't think that's him. So it's cool that they have the contestants involved as well in like the running gag and the storyline. Yeah, that was pretty funny too. I was laughing pretty hard.
Yeah, I was laughing pretty hard because Seth Curry could not like keep a straight face in that scene either.
Oh no, like you can tell like this is the stupidest thing ever, but it works and it's fantastic.
It is fantastic, and I'm excited to see where they go with the storyline here. I also think it's fun that like they also find like the strangest friggin' people to be on this show. Like episode 2 we just watched, there was a guy who basically decided his whole character is not gonna be Rob Riggle from season 2 of Holey Moley, and ends up winning the episode. That was great.
Yeah, I'm convinced because he's wearing like literally the entire getup that Rob Riggle did season 2. I'm convinced the writers of the show or the producers said you can have his wardrobe if it fits because you're so obsessed with Rob Riggle.
Yeah.
Like I don't think he found pants and his shirt. Like, look, he may have he definitely could have. I'm not saying it's not impossible, but I definitely think the producers are like, oh, you like Rob Riggle? That's going to be your angle. We're going to give you what he wore. We'll size it for you and everything. Like, because it's so funny. If he loses, whatever. But if he won like he did, it's again like, oh, the Rob Riggle impersonator. So maybe he'll wear something from this year in the final or something like that.
Yeah, and if you're on this show, you're either like some sort of like semi-famous person, like you're a TikTok person, you're like a influencer, or you're like a complete Looney Tune with some capacity of your life. Right? Whether it's like there was a guy a couple of years ago who was like obsessed with applesauce. He got on the show. I remember that. There was like a grandma like Olaf just loved to bake cookies. Like they do like weird things like that.
I wonder if the producers make these characters, right? Like I don't want to say like WWE, but I wonder if like they're like normal everyday people and they're like, is there something you really like? And they're like, yeah, like I'm like a, so like what do you eat all the time? And they're like applesauce. All right, you're the applesauce guy. Like I feel like maybe they try to make it over the top for the show, but it could very well be that these people really are obsessed with applesauce, or like I'm the baking mini golfer, like all these different things. I feel like maybe the producers kind of bring that angle, that character development out there. Excuse me, not character development, character story out there just to make the show a little bit funnier.
Yeah. That's why I'm convinced if anybody we know is to get on this show, it's gonna be John Stanko, because they would like just milk his movie love into like whatever for their show.
John Stanko, hell, I would do it. I would love playing a little mini golf. I think would be funny if we got our friend Nick Frietta.
Yeah.
Only because I feel like Nick would be way over competitive.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Like I could just see him being like, I'm just the competitive mini golf I just told to come here. Like he wouldn't have an ankle. He's just like, I'm just here to play golf. I don't know what's going on.
They probably just dress up in Jedi robes because of the Star Wars thing.
We had that, right? Didn't we have that in season 3? I think there was the Jedi of mini golf or something like that.
Yeah.
I feel like we did have that. And he had like a lightsaber putter, which is great. But I think anyone on the podcast we could throw out there and it would be funny.
Yeah, trying to think of who else would be fun. I think like our friend Sandra would also be fun, just getting her on there, just having, because like I feel like she would have fun with this too.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like anyone that can decently putt, right? You can't just throw some scrub out there who has never played mini golf before and is just going to have like an 8-stroke game. We haven't seen anyone that can't really play at some capacity, right? But like again, I feel like they just take, like, the producers take an angle. They say you're going to run with this, and you're just going to look. The average person's going to wipe out on these obstacles. Unless you get lucky or you're determined, to really like focus on training for obstacles. I don't even know how you do that for the show, but I don't know. I think anyone, it would just be comedic. It would be entertaining.
Absolutely. Let's look at some of the new holes we got for season 4. So let's start out. We got 3 in the premiere. We'll start with the trapeze hole, which basically is like the obstacle on that hole. Basically, you have to try and do a trapeze act with a Rob Riggle dummy. That's another time where they started burying Rob Riggle, where he's the dummy that you have to cast the trapeze on. So what do you think of that whole design? You think the obstacle's good?
I think the obstacle's good. I think it's hard enough where if someone actually does land it, it's going to be a miracle. And it's going to make the commentators go wild for it. And that's just going to make it funnier. But I like it a lot. I think it's a variation of Volcano. And I think it's hard. Like I said, it's hard enough where if someone does finally get it, it's just going to be such a huge advantage because I don't think many people are.
Yeah, no, because just like nobody in your normal life is actually like doing a trapeze event. So they're going to try and go, and they're not going to know how to like angle their body to catch the arms of the dummy.
I have to say, though, at least the course marshals try to tell them when to jump and go, like time it, because who the hell is going to know unless you've done that before, how to time that kind of trapeze stunt?
Yeah, for sure. The next hole I want to talk about here is Full Mooney, I think is the name of the hole, where basically you're putting, they've seen Verizon this before, you're basically putting up a backwards ramp, it flies over and you land on the other side. Then you have to go across the water doing a moonwalk on a giant floating ball that looks like the moon. I think that one is probably the one I want to play because it looks very fun, but I think like if you have the momentum and know how to moonwalk properly, you could do it.
I mean, I never want to look at something on TV and say, yeah, I could do that, because I know the moment I'm going to try it, I'm just going to fail miserably, because I'm sure it's a lot harder than it looks. But it's probably one of the obstacles that I could say, all right, at least all it is walking in balance. It's not like timing, walking, balance, jumping. Like there's a lot of other holes that the obstacles are a lot more involved. So I agree with you on that front. I feel like that's the one, if I had to pick one, would be the one I would want the most. But it's a good hole. It's simple but complicated at the same time, right? It's simple. You just have to hit over the ramp, try to get over the hazard, and putt your way to the green. There's not like a ton of obstacles. There's not like a ton of different like barriers you have to putt around. It's just that moonwalk that's the hardest part.
Yeah, absolutely is. The third one we got from the premiere was I'm looking at here is I think the Hollywood hole was just sort of redesigned from season 3. I think Holy Matrimony, where they had them walk down the aisle and lay on the cake. Instead, what we do now, they add a different element. They combine 2 holes where like you have to land on a star from someone on the show, and where that is your ball position on the second part of the hole. So I think it's fun. You have them all dressed up like they're going down the red carpet, and you have either I think the Sir Golf gets a hole to the farthest away. Then I think Silent Boy, Jeannie May, Joe Tessitore, and Steph Curry, and Rob Riggles the drop zone. Like that, I think that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, the first episode they showed it. Rob was complaining that he wanted to star, and they didn't show that drop zone. And the second episode, they had the Rob Riggle drop zone. It
Yeah,
was like, hey, you wanted something, here it is, but it's literally the worst position ever.
yeah.
Try to play it off as like, yeah, that's the premier club. You want to be at the Rob Riggle zone, um, yeah, it's good. I like it a lot more than Holy Matrimony because I just felt like Holy Matrimony was damn near impossible. And I think they saw that. So that's why they just made it like jump off this conveyor belt and just land on one of the floating kind of pucks that are there. It's good. Just a repurposed hole that they just took away the main hard element to. And they don't have, I think with Holy Matrimony, you had to put down a ramp first, right?
Yes, you have to putt first. Now you just like you're just running down the ramp for your ball position.
Exactly. So it's very simplified, but it's still enjoyable to watch. It's still funny. It's still a good hole. They added some kind of like humps in the green as well to make it a little harder, so it's not just a straight shot. So I think they did well by it. I don't think they ruined it too much.
I think they actually made it better because I feel like now there's more like of a chance here for people to actually do well. Like when somebody's gonna get on the like either the test or the Steph Curry landing pass, be amazing.
Yeah, I think I personally would have loved to see the ramp stay, and then if you fell in the water, it would be a stroke penalty. Um, or maybe do something with it. I would have loved to see that first putt at least stay there, but it's still a fine hole. I still like it. I think it's definitely better than Holy Matrimony.
Yeah, absolutely. In the last new hole, I think there's gonna be more. I'll get to that in May, but we saw in episode 2 here the Bigfoot hole, and I figure here's the one you're complaining about as a sort of duplicate because this basically looks like the Pecker hole that they used last season, where you're just riding, you jump on Bigfoot's foot after you do your first putt. You have to try and land on top of a golf ball. If you can't stay on top, you use a stroke penalty.
Yeah, pretty much it's just the reverse of Pecker. I mean, that's what it is. And the reason why I have a gripe about it is because I think that hole still exists. I don't think they
It does exist.
I don't think they took it out for this hole. So it's like, all right, now we're getting back to the whole hot dog and log roll debacle, right? Like it's the same exact hole, just in reverse. One, you have to jump on the moving platform and grab a feather. The other, you have to jump off the moving platform and stay on a golf ball, right? It same kind of like thing for me, in my opinion, but it's not to say it's not a bad hole, but it's the same kind of concept. You hit it down a ramp, you try to get a hole in one. There's something that's blocking the hole in one, so it's hard to do. You get on the Bigfoot, see if you can stay on the golf ball. If you don't, stroke penalty, and then you go on from there.
Yeah, I mean that one I was not of the 4 holes guys use this is my least favorite of the 4 so far. I feel like they're gonna use it a lot.
Yeah, again, it's. I think I don't know. It looks like it's in the same position when you just look at where the course is. It looks like it's in the same position as where that donut one is, but the donut one still exists. So I don't know where it is, but it almost looks like it's the same spot.
Yeah, I always like looking in the background too because I like when they do those wide shots of Joe and Rob where you try and see what holes are available. And I saw the arcade one in the background. I was happy that. I'm happy that one's coming back. I think that was great. I know your favorite hole came back is the fishing hole.
That hole is. I hope because they did it last year a little bit. I hope it's not every other episode.
Yeah. Well, I mean, takemefishing.org pay for it.
I get it. You pay for it. You pay for that space. You 100% have to use it. I just really hope that like if we get to season 7 or 8, there's not like 4 paid holes and they have to use them the majority of the time, and then there's only 2 or 3 holes they can sprinkle in. So careful, in my opinion. They have to be careful for variety's sake. But one hole that's sponsored, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, and I remember last year they also when they did their final like hole there, they combined 3 holes into par Fitch Dust. And that was one of the 3. It was made the cut for like I think it was like that one, the arcade, and the double Dutch Courage and Fuego.
Of course it did.
Yeah.
I mean, look, again, if you're paying the money, you should absolutely be there. You paid for that space, you paid for that exposure. It should be there. I hope this season they go back to the model of season 2 for the finale. I'm sure we'll talk about that in a little bit, but I really hope that they don't do what they did last year. I didn't really like that finale that much. I liked it, but it wasn't like, oh man, this is great. It's like, okay, we've seen these already. They're just doing an extended episode.
Yeah, they combined 3 holes into one, basically.
Oh, so that's it. That's all. I'm just hoping for that originality from at least season 2.
Yeah, where season two we had like a couple of brand new holes debut in the finale to challenge people.
That and also the last hole was as much as they made fun of it being so lackluster, which it kind of was. At least it was something. It was like you have to get a hole in one in this. It's not going to be easy.
Yeah.
That's what a finale should be. Not like we're going to combine all the holes you've probably played already.
Yeah.
It was COVID, so they probably were getting budget wise a little tight and everything. So I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
Not lazy and say, okay, we need to put holes together again. Just premiere a new hole.
Yeah, I think as well as also where it was budget. They filmed 3 and 4 back to back last year, so they can only do so much in some of turnarounds. Hopefully they. I'm for my thing. I'm worried about here is I'm worried they cut my favorite hole from last year was the King Parther's court. I'm worried they cut that. I haven't seen it anywhere on the course thus far.
I haven't seen it. I feel like I've seen Sir Goff in the outfit though.
Yeah,
I'm saying like there's that
yeah.
specific outfit that they have, but I could be wrong. Time will tell. Obviously, um, they're kind of hinting that they're going to have a big finale because that's like the big what's it called?
The Muppet theme plot.
Yeah, so maybe there'll be a Muppet themed hole or something like that, or it'll be a Muppets finale, which I'm fine with. Again, this is not a serious show. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I also noticed there is at least one more hole that we haven't seen yet because in one of the wide shots, I think when they're I don't know where they are on the course, there's a sign for a hole called the whole truth or something like that, or the whole tooth. I couldn't tell. I can't tell if it's tooth or truth, but there's like another hole we haven't seen yet.
Wasn't there a hole called the whole truth or something like that at some point in the seasons?
I don't remember, but like I saw the sign. We haven't seen it yet, so it's something we at least haven't seen this season.
Right. And don't forget, Volcano's back. I don't know if that's something you were going to leave for the end, but Volcano is back. They've rebranded it back to what it was, which I'm very excited for.
Yeah, you weren't a fan when they did the Christmas theme on it.
I wasn't. It was no. I, you switch it up, I get it, but Volcano was like the original finale
Yeah.
for all of the season one. They've rebranded it and repurposed it so that so the original Volcano, the green was like to the right of it. Now it's like more toward like in front to the left of it and more toward the pole that you have to like hold on to. And they did that for the Christmas theme. And they kept it for the Volcano and they made it like tiki themed and everything. I like it a lot better.
Yeah, so that's going on with Holey Moley. And Pete, before I let you go here, just let everybody know you're going to be on our Sky Guys here on the Sky Guys podcast. We're dropping our Obi-Wan Kenobi preview later this week. It's gonna be exciting.
Yep, the preview's coming out later this week. And then don't forget that Obi-Wan Kenobi is dropping 2 episodes on the 27th. That's a Friday. It was pushed from the 25th, the Wednesday. So make sure that you catch both of those episodes when they come out. We'll talk about the show extensively on the preview coming out here shortly. And also just as like as a random show, if you want to watch on the 27th on Hulu, a show named Shoresy is coming out for any hockey fans out there that likes a nice comedy. It's from the makers of Letterkenny. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Letterkenny, but Shoresy will be coming out the same exact day as Obi-Wan, except Shoresy, I believe, will be coming out with its full season of 6 episodes, and I think at about a half an hour apiece. So yeah, definitely check that out if you're looking for some shows that we haven't spoken about here on Just End the Suffering or the Sky Guys.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, also I mentioned before we go on to like mention where I can get the Sky Guys stuff here. I think I mentioned Stranger Things. That's also coming up the 27th. So I mean, that's a loaded Friday for Memorial Day.
Funny, I keep forgetting about Stranger Things because it's been so long. Like it's been terribly long for Stranger Things, and I get with COVID and everything. And also, I canceled my Netflix subscription. I wasn't watching anything on it. I wasn't watching a thing. The only thing I was watching was Stranger Things. So I haven't really been seeing any, except for maybe Instagram, like the reminders of like, hey, Stranger Things coming out 27.
Yeah.
I'm also very curious, and we've spoken about this ad nauseum on the Sky Guys podcast. I'm curious what's happening on the 25th because something.
Yeah, something is up with the reason. I think my theory still stands that it's tied to Star Wars Celebration. Why they pushed it back? They had something. They're announcing something that's related to Obi-Wan. They didn't want to spoil at the first episode's ruin that.
Possibly, it's definitely a possibility.
Yeah, we'll keep you up on that stuff. The Sky Guys podcast feed is going to have the episodes for the preview and the premiere. You'll get it day and date, same date here on the Just on the Suffering podcast. So you'll get them there. But after that, we're going to do our practice here. We did it to the Book of Boba Fett, where like if you want it on the Sky Guys feed, you get it day after you record. Otherwise, you are going to have to wait a couple of days to get it in the Just on the Suffering feed. You'll get it, but it's not going to be that exclusive early access.
I mean, if you want that exclusivity, you gotta sign up for that Sky Guys podcast. You gotta subscribe to that feed. You gotta make sure you're checking it. You will get the podcast right after the two episodes. Not right after, that same day. We're going to be watching it as they come out, and then later that day, we're going to be dropping a podcast on the first two episodes, getting our thoughts. So definitely make sure you watch it so there's no spoilers for you. But you have to subscribe to get that exclusive access.
Yeah, and for to show you how dedicated I am, I mean, I had like my tickets for my Mets season ticket plan that day. My friend who with the I gave him both tickets that day, so I'm going to be here to record those episodes.
Look at that. That's dedication.
Yeah.
I'm telling you one thing though. Game 7 of the Stanley Cup playoffs for Rangers Penguins. That's going to be tomorrow. So we're recording on a Saturday here. That's going to be tomorrow. And I have a hockey game at night, and I am very, very, very torn if I want to skip my two hockey games that night, actually, or watch the Rangers in Game 7. So
Tough decision.
yeah, I'm a bit of a pickle because I paid for these games already. It's just like you with the season tickets. It's hard. It's a hard one.
Yeah, and as far as the Stranger Things coverage goes here, I see the background. You have the Christmas lights up here, and as honor Stranger Things season one, I have put the lights on. Sandra Rosa responded to the call. We are planning to do some Stranger Things coverage on the main podcast as well, so that's coming later this month as well.
Yeah, no, that's gonna be great. Sam DeRosa is always a great guest. She's very knowledgeable with pretty much everything you're talking to her about. So I'm sure she's gonna have some strong and very accurate opinions about Stranger Things. And I can't wait to see what you guys say and also what the season looks like.
Yeah, remember it's weird because they had that split because you're getting 5 episodes now and then 4 in July.
That's just so, I don't want to say it's dumb, but just you have the episodes recorded already. I'm sure they're edited already. Like, just throw the whole season out there. Why are you making people wait a month for 4 episodes?
Because they're losing subscribers. They want people to come back.
Like, great. And then after the month of July, they're going to lose subscribers. It's not going to change anything.
No, I think what we're seeing here with them is that they're sort of realizing that they're going to have to change their model a bit because the binge only works so long. You don't have enough content to sustain it. People just got to watch what they want and leave.
Really don't have enough content that to me keeps me there. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that love Netflix content. For me, I can't justify paying because they increase it every 6 months or whatever it is. I was at like $15 for a single plan at one point. I was just like, I can't do it. I'm done. I'm not watching anything, so I canceled it.
Yeah, I mean, I get it because
That's
it's
all.
not there's nothing there for you. Like, why are you paying for the service? It's like you're there for the original content, not giving you much.
Correct. And Stranger Things was, look, it was Stranger Things in The Office. They took The Office off a while ago. I was able to get The Office on Blu-ray, and it's also streaming on Peacock. So it's like, okay, that's done. Then Stranger Things, and I was like, the only other show I was maybe watching was That 70s Show, and it was just like at that point, like I'm paying $15 a month for two shows, one of which I'm probably going to finish in like 2 months if I keep watching it, and the other one I got to wait 7 years to get the next season. So it's like, what am I doing?
Yeah, I mean, we do at the end of the year, we always do the pop culture party. We have the big loser of the year. I feel like Netflix is in the running early on to be the loser of the year.
Yeah, at this point, I don't know if Netflix is going to be able to recover. I'm not going to say they're going to go under, but I don't think they're going to be able to get back to where they once were. I think there's a lot of streaming services out there now that's competition, like a lot more competition than what was first there. Netflix was like the OG. Hulu was there, but Hulu was not really being looked at as a competitor. Netflix doesn't have the same thing like Hulu does, where live TV shows are coming on to Hulu right after they air, so people that miss it can watch it. And I think Hulu actually has become the front runner in streaming because of that. I think the ability to watch TV the next day because you missed it or whatever is better than waiting a year and a half to get another season of something you're going to watch it within. Sometimes if you're a hardcore Netflix watcher, a week.
Yeah, or less.
Yeah. So I don't know if changing the model is going to save them now, but maybe it'll help a little bit. I don't think they're the streaming giant that they used to be.
Yeah, also Disney Plus is making up a ton of ground then too, because you have all the Marvel and Star Wars content, which brings in a lot of people.
That was also a big hit to Netflix because I think Netflix had a lot of the Marvel stuff, maybe not all of it, but they had a good selection of it. And then when Disney came out, they're like, nope, taking that back. Boom, got it back. And then they lost a lot of content there. So we'll see with Netflix. Again, I don't think they're going under, but I don't think they're going to be the biggest streaming company. They probably aren't right now. I don't know the numbers. But I think they're gonna slowly decline to possibly their demise at some point in the future.
Absolutely. And Pete, if you want to follow on social media, you're going to do that.
DJ Consadori 29. That's Consadori. That's on Twitter. You can follow me retweeting a bunch of this stuff here from the podcast. Even the podcast that I'm not on, I'm always retweeting. So you can see the feed there. But also a little bit of Rangers here. Again, game 7 coming up tomorrow. Tomorrow from the date we're recording. We're recording here on Saturday the 14th. So yeah, definitely give me a look there.
Absolutely. And if they do make it to the conference finals, we got to have a chat about that.
Yeah, no, I'm hoping. See, I'm just a little tease here. I didn't expect the Rangers to win the cup this year if we got into the playoffs, just because of the pure talent that's out there. However, things have happened, so I'm not going to count them out until they're actually out.